Time's a waste.
Leave them here.
Time's wasted. Hello, and welcome to the Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. I am Jen.
Amanda.
Kathleen.
And welcome to our podcast from Montclair's local yarn store. We are all about knitting, crocheting, things to do with yarn. I got distracted halfway through a sentence, which is par for the course.
Well, we have been
sorry,
here.
that's probably from me. We've been
What
in
happened?
the store.
I'm fluffing my eyes.
Oh no. Yeah, we've been here for 4.5 hours already
Yes.
today.
Oh,
Oh my
y'all
goodness.
have.
Some of
So
us
we're-
have. Some
we're
of us have
recording.
dealing with sick children.
Yes.
Well,
Or-
not sloppy sick children.
Not sloppy sick.
Not
children,
yeah,
thank
not
goodness.
like sicky sick. Just
Yeah.
kind of can't go to school, annoying sick.
Yes, that's it.
Which, you know.
It's okay. Good, considering the
Right.
options.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And you know what that says? That says it's October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. All the germs have been out there mixing, right?
Everything starts in October and runs through, let's face it, June.
Yep.
For
So we
those of us with children.
just had a meeting with one of our primary suppliers
Yeah,
and
Which
talked
was
through.
super fun.
Yep, always good to see him.
Lots of fun stuff eventually coming everybody's way. It'll
Yes.
be very cool to see, including something I'm working on, but I can't.
Oh wow, you started already?
I decided what I was going to do and I'm going to
Nice.
start because
Go
I
ahead and
realized
start.
I
Yeah.
didn't bring very many whips, if any. So I gotta do something.
And just, so that you know, we are going to have to be quick today because people have
Yes.
child pickup and all of that, and
That's
it is what it is. You had like almost a double episode
I know.
last time. So this
We
will
talked
be-
your ear off last time.
Plus
so
the bonus episode.
That's
Yes.
right, exactly.
we
Yeah.
had a lot of content this past week.
Yes.
Yeah, or
Good job,
yes.
Amanda.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely check out Amanda's special episode on her
Oh.
trip to France.
Yeah.
It was really
so,
fun.
it looked so beautiful.
It was an amazing trip.
I mean, it sounds
and
amazing.
all the yarns that were in because we have a little left over from the Suitcase Sale. So
Yeah.
by the time this goes up, all those are going to be online for you guys.
Lucky.
Have you already taken pictures?
No, I haven't.
She's got days between where
Oh,
we record this and
hours.
send it. Hours.
No, because she's going to Rhinebeck.
I'm
That's
going
right.
back.
So if you are not, I am not going to Rhinebeck this year. It overlaps with my son's birthday a little bit. So I will live vicariously through these two. But I will hear all about it. And if you're going to Rhinebeck, maybe you're watching this on the way to Rhinebeck.
Exactly, or maybe
on your way back.
Or maybe you're in your hotel early in the morning before you go.
Right.
So-
Leaving in those ends. Although,
That's right. That's
Maybe you
right.
bailed on this rainy Saturday and
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
in your hotel enjoying this. And
hanging
knitting
out and
instead.
knitting.
It is TBG whether I'm bailing on the rainy Saturday because I'm driving up. Plans are to drive up with a local friend here for the day.
Yeah.
But if we both look at the forecast and it's like 90% chance of rain,
You're like, oh.
we may not. But
I'll be there.
Yeah, Amanda will be there either way, and actually, Seisha and Kim will also be there
Nice.
from the store. They are
that'll be
definitely going.
fun.
So, so we probably should. So we said meetup would be
On the hill.
on the hill, back toward the fence, like almost like at the back of the hill.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is the same hill where Andrea Mary's doing her meetup and Amy's doing her meetup.
Nice.
And I think Amy has 2 meetups. Amy of La Aimée has an Asian Knitters meetup from 11 to 12, and then I think she's doing an LBA meetup at 12, like 12 to 1. And they don't always necessarily run a full hour, but, so kick off at 11, kick off at 12. And when I was talking to Seisha and Kim yesterday, I was letting them know, like, okay, perfect, like, go from kind of one to the other. But,
Right.
yeah, Andrew, Mary, and Amy are both having meetups at noon, and so we'll be like in that general area around that time too, back at the fence at the back of the hill. And Nitty Natty, I think, is also in that general area,
Oh,
but
cool.
like toward the front.
Right,
And
yes, she's at the front.
Remember when we were trying to talk about like landmarks and where to meet and everything? And on her podcast, it was so cute. She's like, yeah, there's a hot chocolate place and everything, and then there's something with monkeys, which I think is true. Like there's a place with little animals, and
Yes.
I thought one of you were saying that to me, and I'm like, that can't be right. And then Gene said it to me too. He's like, yeah, it's the place with the monkeys.
You're
does Gene
so
know?
focused.
That's
Gene
so
has
funny.
been in. Gene has been to Rhinebeck.
You're so
Yeah.
focused on the fiber.
On the fiber and the hot
like-
chocolate. I do
yes.
love hot chocolate. But yeah, so anyway, so hopefully everyone doesn't get too soggy on Saturday, and
Bring a raincoat.
yeah,
Bring a
yeah.
poncho.
Actually, it's just like
Not a yarn poncho.
if you have one of those clear raincoats, clear
Yes.
poncho things, that's the I think I have one somewhere. I have to look. But it's the perfect thing to wear over your your knit, so people can still see it.
Everyone still sees, but
Yeah.
you stay dry.
Yeah.
I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I think that's really like what's going on around town. I mean, we also have.
I'll probably, if it's raining, I will be in a ponytail because we're not like doing the
You're not doing hair.
hair in the rain thing.
No.
Yeah.
No, because that's no.
Mm-hmm. And are we keeping track of time at all? Do you want me to do my phone?
I will. Yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah.
That would be good. Yeah. So, what else? Anything else going on around town? I mean, Rhinebeck is really the big deal.
Yeah.
Rhinebeck's the big deal. We went to the Blaze, the Great Pumpkin
Gardens,
Blaze.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll put a couple of pictures in here if you haven't. I think I
Did
talked
that
about
already
it.
happen?
Well, I mean, it's for several weekends in a row leading up to Halloween.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Is it at Brookdale Park or where is it?
No, this is up in like Sleepy
Oh,
Hollow.
right.
It's up
Yeah.
in, like by Tarrytown.
Right. So it's a little bit of a drive from here, but they have thousands of carved pumpkins, and it's just it's a really fun time. We have a new au pair.
Yeah.
So he arrived last week, and we were looking for something family and very American to do together.
Perfect.
That is very
Perfect.
American.
It's very American. Thousands of carved pumpkins for Halloween and spooky and it's sort of like historical. I sent him the Legend of Sleepy Hollow to
Cool.
read beforehand.
Actually, one thing I just realized that we did not do yet, that we have been really bad about lately, is our episode number.
Oh,
What episode do we think it is?
crap. I think it's 110.
Close.
111?
Higher.
112.
Yes.
Because we said last time the 111 was somebody's like wish.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the
Ollie,
numbers, yeah.
see, this is the thing. I'm like, do I have any recollection of this? No, but as soon as you say that, I'm like, Ollie
yeah,
always
we
is
talked
like,
about
11, 11.
Right.
Make
Exactly.
a wish, 10,
Yeah.
10, make
Or
a wish.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he doesn't do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh.
Interesting.
I
don't know why.
don't know. I usually am just finishing my Wordle or like just shutting the light off after doing
Exactly.
Wordle at 1, 2, 3, 4. So I always see that
It
one.
might be he's too focused on I'm eating now. Stop.
Yeah, lunchtime,
I'm not
1, 2, 3,
looking
4.
at, anything.
Yeah.
The time I recognize that, you're right, Kathleen, is in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, maybe it is bedtime.
Maybe I should shut my light off.
2:22. You're like,
I actually have been going to bed a little bit earlier lately, and I was thinking, oh, it's probably because of the time change. And then I realized the time change hasn't happened yet.
I was just
It is the light change,
I was
though.
It is
just
the light
talking
change.
about that yesterday at the gym with my friend, and we were like, "Oh God, it's got to be like this weekend, right?" And
It's not till November.
Our trainer was like, "It's totally this weekend," and then she's like, "I lied. It's like
in 3 weeks,
a month,
right?
Yeah, I'm like,
It's,
no.
I think it's November 4th.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
November
I saw
4th.
it on.
I'm like,
yeah.
They changed that.
Yeah, they did. They
They
did.
did.
They made it
That
later.
means we get an extra hour.
Extra
Yes,
hour of sleep
yes.
unless you're my children,
Just
in
to
which case you get an
discombobulate
extra hour of
your body.
screens.
Oh, nice.
Because why would I change when I wake up when there can be iPad involved?
There you go.
Well, we should dive in because we still
We
got,
should, as we
still
said,
got
we
stuff.
have-
We digress.
We don't have a whole lot of time today.
But let's talk about finished objects.
Yes.
I actually have a finished object, but Kathleen, do you have a finished object?
I do.
Let's start with you.
Thank you. So I have my last summer top of the year.
Yay!
It's the Luminous Summer by Minimi Knit Design. And I'm
out
pretty
really
happy
nice.
with it.
That
Thank
really
you.
turned out
Yeah,
beautifully.
I do. I may play with the sleeves. And actually, yeah, you guys don't know the details yet. We've been, like we said, we've been here for a few hours, but I was wearing a turtleneck and I was still cold. And you probably look at my arms. Look at the goosebumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty cold, but whatever. I still had to wear it because it does look better on than off.
It's cute.
But I switched from the Lana Mia Catone Effetto or Catone, I forget which one.
Catania Feta.
Which I had done originally for this to Zoe, and I'm much happier with, Zoe at this gauge. You can see the little eyelets at the top.
Yeah.
I did do a little crochet edging, which I like, and I finished it in this. I was trying to, do something to bring a little more color to it. All of my summer tops are solid for the most part, and I was just looking for something with a little more interest. But one thing I realized, and I brought this to a little impromptu knit night I had with some friends the other night, the sleeves are way too big. I should have actually made a smaller size of this because it's one of those round yoke things where when, you know, for a larger size especially, as they grade, as you know, we were talking about with, you know, a customer in front of the podcast the other day via email, you know, grading isn't always great as they go to those upper sizes. And this is definitely one where I feel like it suffered because of that. And I should have done my high bust measurement, not my full bust measurement, all the things I know, but we don't always do.
Pick your size based on high bust.
Jen's voice in your head.
Oh,
high
my
bust, not
goodness.
a full bust.
I melted Charlie's jacket yesterday because I didn't test the iron before I tried to put a patch on. So then I had to like make a bigger patch. And I said in my head, I was like, I need to test this fabric first before I try to iron it. Yeah, but I didn't. So, yes, that's like, that. I feel like that's the story of everybody's life. I don't know. Are you one of those disciplined people that always follows their inner...
listens to themselves?
No,
inner gem?
no.
Do you always follow your inner gem?
Yep, right.
Guess what? I don't follow me either.
And then you're so mad at yourself after.
Yes.
So mad at myself.
Routinely. And you're like, God, what did I do?
Oh,
I knew better. Why didn't I listen?
I know.
Why am I not thinking?
So annoying. Anyway, yeah. I'll take a picture of Charlie's new patch, which you'll see is covering up quite a large melted hole. As opposed to, it was just like a razor slice in the
What
jacket.
kind of patch is it? Like a little decorative patch?
Well, I got him a Charizard Pokemon
Cute.
to cover up this like little razor thin slit and a puffer and a down puff jacket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
was like, this is gonna be great. And I was like, I should test this fabric first with the iron before I like.
And then you proceeded to just
And
do
then I
it,
put
right?
it to iron, and I was like, and
Here we go.
Well, now we have a problem, and the hole was too big for Charizard to cover it.
Oh no.
So now Charizard's on the background?
Charizard's on the background,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, there you
I
go.
had to sew
There
the
you
background on.
It's just more of an impact. More of an impact. Yeah, I mean, the thing with like the round yoke, it's like, it's harder to grade it,
Yeah.
but it's actually significantly easier to modify it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just have to think about it ahead of time.
Well, what I really should have done was just like look at my gauge, and I was on gauge for this. You know,
Yeah.
I got gauge. If I had looked at my gauge and really calculated what I was going to have for front bodice, left bodice, back bodice, and sleeves,
Yeah.
I would have known it was going to be too big.
Yeah.
You know, I would have known, and I just, whatever.
You're like, oh, I'm just gonna make it.
And also, as I was working on it, I felt like this is a lot of stitches. But sometimes you do say that to yourself,
Well,
right?
and
This is
also
just a
it's
lot of
like-
stitches. And a round yoke is going to be a lot of stitches.
It is.
It is.
'Cause
So,
it goes-
so that was, I kind of rationalized it. Of course, it's a lot of stitches.
Yeah. It
Anyway,
goes around all
and
of
even
you.
when I tried it on, it didn't seem that big. But I didn't really try it on
I
again.
don't think that there's that.
You know what?
big.
You know what I did, and this was Karen Berzens, who is one of our Knit Night regulars in person and everything, and has been a friend of the store from the beginning. She was at this little gathering, and she's like, "Oh, you know what I've done? I've done knit two together 5 times on either side of the underarm, so it really pulls it in a spot you don't see."
Yeah.
And I thought that was so clever.
Smart.
And so I did that, but then I also did like knit 3, knit 2 together around the sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
So it's like
almost
a
a little
little-
bit of a puff sleeve, which is not what I'm going for. I mean, I brought the pattern.
But it'll keep it from flaring out at
It'll
the
keep
edge.
it, but look at how pretty this looks. And Amanda, if you could put up a picture of the,
Yeah.
of this pattern, they're supposed to hang straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really are. It's not supposed to be a puff sleeve. So,
But, I think it's cute.
it's okay.
Like,
so,
unless
I mean,
you
I
pointed
love
it out,
a puff
I would
sleeve.
never
That's
know.
sort of
Yeah.
like my thing.
and
I
so
also
my other thing is, should I do a little tipping on this with the other yarn,
Yeah,
or
I
should I
would.
just leave it?
I would
Yeah.
tip it.
Okay. All right. I will.
I mean, I feel like you don't always have to match your neck, your sleeve, your hem.
No, but also the hem is different because it's like 3 inches deep.
Yeah, the hem
Yeah.
is different. I think it
I'll,
just
I'll match
ties
it. Oh well, it's so funny. This
Well,
was
the thing is, if your sleeves are here and your neck is here, that's one thing. If it's
yeah,
like
but
here
they're
and here,
close.
then
Yeah,
like,
I thought I probably should, but also partly like I blocked this. What today's Tuesday? I blocked this Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finished. Actually, I had it at it was Sunday night. I had it at the thing. I finished both sleeves, and I blocked it on Sunday night because I wanted it to be dry by today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like really, it only had Monday to dry. But I do like the pattern a lot. I think what I'm going to do, and this is going to be in my queue for like next spring, like early spring. So I have one to wear early, as soon as it really gets warm. I'm going to do a smaller size. I'm going to see what, note what my gauge was with those needles and this pattern, figure out what the right size is for me to do. I probably will shift some stitches to the front, as we sometimes do with the round yoke.
Yeah.
So the back is smaller, the sleeves are smaller, the front is a little bit bigger. And I want this in the shape that it looks like in the pattern.
Yeah.
And I'll just pick another color of Zoe and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I won't do the contrast. So I will have a top that I wear occasionally. It probably won't be like in heavy rotation, but I'm glad I tried it. I did like the pattern. And actually the funny thing, in when I was going to do this and I didn't kind of have the right yarn right away, I did another one of her patterns in Nev that I love. It was like a last minute addition to my queue, and I did it. And
the orange one.
And
because great.
And actually, we were talking about this with the vendor earlier today. It's like it's Nev. It's like we hoard that Nev because there's another yarn that they discontinued that we're going to do the same thing with. It's like you discontinue a great yarn, we just hoard it and use it for sweaters.
And sometimes things get discontinued because like the mill equipment broke.
Which is exactly what it sounds like is going on with these things. It's like
they're no longer doing it that way. So you're like,
all right. So that is it on my sweater. Amanda, do we want to go to your sweater and then we go to my other finished objects? Why don't we do that?
Oh,
okay.
Sure. Okay. Well, anybody coming to Rhinebeck will be seeing this in person because I finished my Rhinebeck sweater. Actually,
and this is the one you're wearing
in the Untangled and Woolen Folk
on the Friday.
Yes, because this is the Autumn Court by Dragon Hoard Designs. That's Tristan of Dragon Hoard Fiberworks, and she's going to be vending with her mom and her sister at Woolen Folk. So I'm super excited to see them, and I definitely want to wear this to show off.
Yeah.
So you can see, I brought it this time. I brought my Tale of Woe, so you can actually see
the difference.
Like,
yeah.
That was not.
That's how far it was going. Like it would need to be here, and it's here.
And doubled. Yeah.
Well, it's doubled.
Both sides. I know exactly for both sides, not just.
This is This is like a.
This is not going to fit
21 inch waist.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
No adult humans.
No. Anyway, so that was what was left over. I took the advice of these ladies, and I just finished it in the green. So
Love it so much.
Love it.
Yeah.
So good.
So I had a little bit of
updated ski sweater
left.
Love it.
And finished that, and then I just started from the end of the ribbing that I had here, and went until I ran out.
There you go.
That was it.
Perfect.
That was as much
Very nice.
And yeah, that's it. I love this one. I put it on. Actually, this is the first time I put it on. While we had our meeting this morning, I wove in the critical ends.
There you go. The ones that are
going to show.
likely to fall out of the sleeve.
Yep. The sleeve ends, the last one here, and I did Russian joins.
Yay!
Oh my goodness!
So
I
fun,
love
right?
them so much.
Love a Russian.
So all of the ends and the ribbing were Russian joins, and when I got here, I just went tip, 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 tip.
Yep.
I'm totally gonna do that forever and ever now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
the
it.
best is when you can spit slice a Russian joint.
Mm-hmm. And I have something later. I'm doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
I feel like this is definitely one that we need to do a little tutorial on because it mind confused me.
Yes. You have to see it, and then you're like.
It took me
so much
while
sense
to visualize it. Yes, but it totally. And then of course I mentioned it on Knit Night, like I'm doing this for they're like, we do this all the time. I'm like,
why didn't you tell me, guys?
as you see me reading out all my hints.
You sit there and go, you don't have to do that.
I haven't blocked this yet. I'll probably go home today and block it.
It looks great.
You want to just steam block it?
I
don't know if you want to wet block it.
This is the Allegria by Meadows to Ordway.
Nice,
I used it because it had such clear colors.
Yeah.
But it's so soft.
I love that Allegria.
Yarn.
It makes a really nice garment.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's so good. I brought Charlie home from the hospital in this yarn.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah. Like, and I forget how soft it is until I put it on. I'm like, this is butter.
It's like a hug.
It is. Yeah. It's so buttery. So yay! So I finished my Autumn Court. I still have a little bit more to do because I haven't duplicate stitched on these guys yet. Which I'm going to do after I block. I should do that after I block, right?
I would do it before you block.
Okay, well then maybe I'm not blocking. I don't know.
Just steam block the yoke a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so.
Or you know what? Do it after you block, and then just hit it with a little steam to like kind of have that duplicate stitch sink into the fabric.
Because I haven't. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that before Friday.
I mean,
I'm not driving. I have to drive. I have to literally drive.
You're driving up
Friday.
on
yeah.
Thursday.
So you don't have the.
Yeah.
I don't have the car time.
You don't have your car time. That's the.
That valuable car knitting time.
And I've never duplicate stitched, so there's going to have to be a little bit of a learning curve.
Oh, you'll be fine.
It's fine. It's easy. Yeah.
You'll be fine. The hardest part is being like, wait, do I go up or down?
Right.
Like, you know, when you're kind of like hopping from spot to spot, right?
I guess.
I guess.
So you say.
So.
Should actually,
So
if you didn't have to leave as soon as we were done with this, I'd say stay and we'll work on it.
I know. Yeah.
What other finished objects do you? I only have one, and
I
mine
have
is
nothing
big.
else,
So.
All right, why don't you talk about yours, Jen, and then we'll go
All right.
to my other little thing.
Mine is the For Real.
Oh, that's right.
Blanket.
How could I forget? Is it over here? Where
I
is
hung it up there. I'm not taking it off the hanger because this thing is massive. And of course, I'm wearing blacks, and it's
And you're
like
gonna get
it's a
buttons
pale
on you.
blue, so I will be now coated in pale blue. But this
Oh my
is the
So fun.
For Real corner to corner blanket. It is 9 3/4 skeins, and it is like the fluffiest thing you've ever
Oh my
felt.
goodness. That would be so cozy. That's
Right?
like
It was so nice working on it when I was sitting outside
kids would
watching
love this.
Ultimate Frisbee in cold, like drizzle, and just like draping it over myself.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the best. Like, if you need a quick knit, I mean, this did not take me long
No.
because it's on size 15 needles.
Yeah.
And it's like just this fluffy,
yeah.
massive thing, and you can make it any size because it's a corner to corner blanket.
So nice.
Mm-hmm. And you did it as a rectangular
I did it as a
corner, right?
rectangular corner to corner, which basically means you start with 2 stitches, you increase 1 stitch at the beginning of every row. I did it 1 stitch in, knit in front and back because you're not seeing stitches on the sucker. Until it's as wide as you want the narrow width, the narrow end to be. And then you go from increasing on one row, you increase at the beginning, and then the next row you decrease at the beginning. And you do that.
Which keeps your row even.
Keeps your row even, and it grows. You make a little corner, and then you go and you decrease at the beginning of every row, and it closes the end of the rectangle. So the way
It's
that I
very
did
fun to
it,
do
I
that.
had 10 skeins. I did 4 skeins, increasing every row. I did about
Oh, interesting.
half to a third of a skein, making the short end of the rectangle, the increase plus decrease row. And then I did the rest of it decrease.
Huh.
So it's
it's almost square then, right?
it's almost square. It's about
It's a little
6
bit.
inches past square.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I could have done a little bit more, but I didn't have my scale and I didn't want to weigh it.
Yeah.
So, or maybe I did. Yeah, no. Basically, if you're going to make a square blanket, do half of the skeins of yarn that you have,
Or slightly less in case your gauge changes.
increasing, and then do the rest decreasing. And if you're going to, like, the problem is with 10 skeins, I'm like, honestly, with 9, I would have done 4. 1 skein as a rectangle, and then 4 decrease, right? But 10, I was like, oh, now I have to do math. Here, I'm going to...
All right.
Shove
Then I'll
this
put
over
that guy
there.
back down.
But yeah, that's a fantastic yarn. If you want to make like a quick blanket for somebody who maybe isn't it's machine washable, machine dryable.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not going to take care of something the way that you want, or you want like one of those lovely, like fluffy throw blankets on your couch or at the foot of your bed.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that bag of yarn, this is one of the things where like that's actually cheaper than you can get a faux fur, a nice faux fur throw.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's very affordable. Plus, we'll talk a little bit more about For Real later.
We will.
But like, it's just a really good, quick gift knit yarn.
It's fun. You did all those cowls one year.
I did all those cowls.
That's
I
right.
made one for the crossing guard because she was always cold.
Oh.
My friend calls it her thneed. It's just a garter stitch cowl, and it's like so cozy and warm.
That one's good.
Yeah, it's great.
And I somehow messed up on my eye cord here.
Oh,
I don't know what I was doing. That's what happens.
But anyway, that's my only finished object. I have a couple of whips, but you have more finished objects.
I do, and
But
this
you're
is
on your I-cord.
no, but this is a good point for me to leave it. Put it down,
You're like-
Leave it.
and we'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
So I had done one. I did one hat. This is the Snowy Stripes pattern. This is based on the Snowy Stripes pattern by Jill Zielinski, if I remember correctly. And so this started out with just extras from a store sample hat that I made in the Pasquale Tibetan. So I made this, and right around the time I finished it,
What's the fiber content on Tibetan?
it is...
Yak?
Is it 70 merino, 30 yak? Does
And
that
it
sound
is
right? It's amazing.
so
It feels so soft. So right around the time I finished this, Gene realized that he lost his hat that I made him last year,
Oh,
and he is so distressed.
Wait,
It's
which
like
hat?
he a bank head in Lascaux worsted,
yes.
so it's like I can't even really replace it. But this is so soft. I mean, this is amazing. So then I still had some more left over, so I started making a striped hat, and I was like, oh, you can wear the striped hat, whatever. And then I realized
I love the stripes.
I had a lot of fun with the stripes. I really tried to make it look random, and what I did, actually, this was kind of fun. So I used the same color order as maybe that, I don't know, or I just came up with a color order. I knew I wanted the ribbing to be the orange, and then
You did twisted rib on that one.
I always, this is twisted rib. I love twisted rib for
Is this one
ribbing.
twisted?
It is,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. If I'm going to do one by one, I always do twisted rib. Otherwise, it just flares too much. But what I did with this, I forgot to change needle size. I started this right after I finished that. And so the crazy thing though, and I didn't change my needle size from, like, once I realized, like, I finished the ribbing and then I went and I'm like, oh, I used the wrong needle size for the ribbing. The entire hat is so much looser because for me, well, I'm such a loose knitter and everything.
Yeah.
The ribbing was loose, and therefore, even though I was on the same gauge needle as for this, you can see this. They're a tad bigger. So this,
Well, you're not doing color work, which
which
draws
tightens
in
you
a
up a
little.
little bit. And but I was happy with the stripe pattern, but it reminds me a little bit of Toad from Mario Brothers. It's got that like Toad shape. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one. And Gene does not have nearly as much hair as me, so it
it's a
really
little
looks
big
kind
for
of funny
him.
on him. So then,
quite.
yeah. So here, why don't you give that one to Jen? You can try this one. I think
because I've
this
got
is
a
the
bigger head than
smallest.
you anyway.
And then
So soft though.
I had to make another one.
Oh no, this
So
is
look,
big.
this is all. Yeah, it's really big. It's really
Like
big.
when it's big on me, you know it's big.
Yeah,
because-
but
it's
it is
cute.
so crazy
Yeah.
I
how.
kind of like it.
But look at this. I love this. So this is like almost the reverse of that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like the orange on the bottom. though.
Yeah.
I like the orange on the bottom too.
So
That's
now Gina and I are
cute.
going to have like matching hats for our walks around the park with Anna.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see if we can get a picture though. It'll have to be like tomorrow. We're
actually-
going to get it in.
Like you could totally. You should give this one to Haley and her tiny little head and just be like,
Yeah, I might.
"Slouchy pants."
I might sell that one. She's very particular about her
It's cute.
hats.
I just think this is a beautiful hat yarn.
It's
Yeah,
such.
it is.
Oh, it
Oh
is.
my
So
God.
it's so luxurious, right? It's so squishy.
beautiful.
And now I think I'm really done for now. I've made 4 Pasquale hats. Right?
Yes.
4 Tibetan hats, but
Out of how many skeins?
it was leftovers from Antonia from our rep,
Yeah.
and then I think I only bought 2 more.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Nice.
No, I did wind up getting 3. So one I bought, for the store for the sample. Like there wasn't quite
Right.
enough. So really, this is, but it's less than 6 balls, and I made 4 hats.
Nice.
That's
Crazy.
pretty solid.
Yeah, you totally can get, if you're using 3 colors, you're gonna get 2+ hats. You might, depending on your sizing, you might get
Oh, well,
3
I was
hats
gonna
out
say,
of
and also like if
balls.
you did stripy hats versus color work, the stripy
it. You definitely could make it work.
You could
totally could make it
definitely
work.
make it work.
I know.
So
I
that's
was
a
shocked
good-
when I finished the stripy hat, and it is big. It is bigger
Yeah.
than these. I'm like, I'm gonna have enough to make another hat, so I
So
did.
cool.
But I think these are really fun.
I think they're so fun. It's like a
Yeah.
little family of hats.
So,
I love it.
so anyway, so those are my other finished objects.
Nice.
And it's just cold enough to wear them now, so it's really
Yeah.
fun.
I should make a hat for Jonathan out of the Pasquale. I think he would like it. He's
Yeah.
a delicate, dainty little flower when it comes to sensitivity, and he's got no hair. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, dude. There we go.
So I think we are all done with
I
finished
think
objects.
we're done with finished objects. We talked about what everyone's wearing. I am not wearing a sweater because I was really hot this morning, even though it's cold out.
Yeah. My nose is cold sitting here.
No, chilly.
We need
No,
to
I'm fine.
get the heat turned on.
No, we'll be fine. All right,
I don't
so-
mean today. I mean in general.
In
In
general.
general. Yes. We'll all be fine. But
As a general, yes, we
Yeah.
should. Did I just do? Oh my goodness! mindlessly went through, so I gotta take this back. So let's talk about whips.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Why don't we start with Amanda?
With Amanda.
With me? Okay. Well, I don't know if I've actually made any progress on my blanket. I don't know if I did. I did I make any progress? Was I there last week?
I don't know.
I forget exactly where you were.
Ahead of the game last week.
Well, but now I haven't done anything for 2 weeks. So.
Okay, so now you're behind.
So now this is, again, Baby Ardith, Hooked on Sunshine. I don't think I've made any progress. So we're just going to leave that.
But you're close.
I've still got like 20 rows.
But it's just a billion stitches, those 20 rows.
Yeah, and I really do need to finish it. It's just like, ugh.
When is she
You'll get back to it.
January.
Oh, you got time.
I do have time. I have plenty of time, but I want to do other things.
Yes.
Well, soon
This
your
is the
yarn will
problem
be
with
in
sometimes
for the
with big
layout.
projects is that you're like, I'm almost done, or I'm 3/4 of the way through, and I am distracted by things that are new and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about your new and shiny.
Yeah, okay. So then my one other whip. So I finished this sweater, obviously, but that was like a big thing that had to get done. But then
You're like, but then.
There's more.
Y'all remember when I was talking about the vest that Andrea Mowry put out for Rhinebeck, the tessellated?
Mm-hmm.
We remember that episode where we like pulled a bunch of like different sport combinations.
Yeah.
Because we have so many things in the store that could really work for that. Well, one of them that I pulled was this is the La Bien-Aimée boucle, Merino boucle.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that, and it was actually the last color, or the last skein.
Less skein of that color. That's
which-
Curious Handmade,
It's
right?
Curious Handmade, yeah, which is Helen Stewart, and we know I love Helen Stewart and all things Curious Handmade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I felt like I just needed to get this skein. So we don't have any more of this particular color in stock right now, but we have many other colors in stock.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we don't have in stock is the black that I'm using.
Right.
Usually I am like religious about I only knit with yarns that we carry, but this is yarn that Beth brought back from Norway. It's Hillesvåg, and the starts with a V, Vilja base, which is 100% Norwegian lamb's wool. It feels so good. It's like not super washed.
It's like a nice, like crunchy, but
Yeah.
soft.
But it's soft. It's not.
Yeah, it's not scratchy.
Scratchy at all. So I don't know if any of you guys remember my Rowan felted tweed blanket, which is going to get finished, maybe in 2025.
I mean, that counts.
The reason that it's paused is because I got to one square that had a specific stitch pattern.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same stitch pattern that's in the tessellated.
Ah.
I saw it and I was like, whoa, I know this pattern.
and I put down a project because of this pattern.
I put down a project with this pattern. And if you hear the comments, like, it takes people a long time because it's 3-color slip stitch pattern, mosaic knitting, which means basically for every row, you're knitting 3 rows.
Yeah.
It takes it a long time to grow.
Long time, yeah.
It's a lot. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. My blanket's going to be beautiful when it's done. I was just not, especially with like this blanket and like this sweater and all the drama I've had with that, I was just not in the mood to do 3-color mosaic right now. But I like the look of a vest. I liked this concept of like the fluffy with like a solid. I didn't have another sport color that I really wanted to use, so I was like, why don't I just use these guys? So I started my own pattern. And then I thought about starting another one, a different vest, but then I didn't. So I have, I started, that's my cast on. I have 2x2 rib. And then I change needle sizes and go into this sort of, it's sort of like a offset dots. Let's say.
Yeah.
Like a little offset dots pattern, which does not take long to knit at all. the gauge does change considerably from like the ribbon gauge, which is on a 2.5, US 2.5, and this up here is on a 6, which makes it go super fast.
Oh, that's nice though.
Yeah. So I started it, and I after I did maybe like 2 inches of the pattern, and I played with a few patterns out of my stitch dictionaries, and I found this one, and then modified it for in the round and a few other things. So I found this one, and I really liked it. So I was like, okay, well, let me just do a few inches and see how it looks. And it was way too big. Like, I could tell this was way too big. So I sort of, based on this 2 inches of work, was like, okay, how many stitches do I need to take out? So I took out a quarter of the stitches, which is knit two together. Knit two together all the way around. So I ripped those 2 inches I've done all the way back. I took out a quarter of the stitches, and then knit a little bit more than this. Not too much more, but a little bit more than this. Yeah, because you can see like where my yarn's wound off to on here. And I wore it, or I didn't wear it. I was working on it.
Friday night.
I had it with me on Friday night, and I worked on it like through my whole dance competition. We had a big dance competition last week, so I've been working on it, and I had quite a bit done. Like I was optimistic I was going to be able to wear this to Rhinebeck. I got to the France Suitcase Sale, the Suitcase Sale we had last Friday event here at the store, and I was like, let me just try it on. And it was way too big.
Too big, even with taking out a quarter of the stitches.
Oh no!
So Kathleen helped me. We counted up how many stitches I needed to take out, and as it turns out, I knit 2 together all the way around.
Can you imagine?
Half the stitches.
Half the stitches.
Because the difference between the ribbing and the needle size and the body, the gauge was just tremendously different. Yeah.
And
so, I know, we were shocked.
I can measure and I can do some math, but like, in the end, you knit it, you try it on, you're like, does this work? Does this not work as a garment? So like, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's actually a really enjoyable stitch pattern. It's very chill to knit. I actually didn't do anything on it over the weekend. We were super busy with new apparel and stuff. But I started watching Sherlock again.
Oh, fun!
Season 1.
I did that, I think, when I had COVID. Like, when I was running out of things, it's like, I need comfort TV.
Yes, exactly. I was like, I need something that I don't have to, like, stare
that you
at the
really,
screen.
but you're going to be engaged with at least orally. Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I think you can, like, scream it. Happy Halloween! You can stream it on, like, Voodoo? Yeah, something like that. But I couldn't figure that out. And we don't have that.
It's on something, too. I forget what on Amazon.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon.
Well, you have to buy it on Amazon. So I bought it the first season.
If you still have a DVD player, I have all the DVDs. I do. And it's one of those things, I'm never getting rid of those. I probably should buy a new DVD player before they go away.
Yeah.
There are so many things I have on DVD that, like, but it is funny. If it's on one of the services we have, of course I watch it on the service.
Right. It's easier, but also then you know, like, I have to
if you want to watch it, and
I mean, that's such a nice light fabric. Like, that's going to be so wearable.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so pretty.
I love the way it looks. The way that this, the boucle looks really solid. It's super nice. Like, I'd say the thing that's most similar to this that we have in the store is Phenol Guard.
Yeah.
Right? So, it's a Norwegian light sport, heavy fingering, very gauge shifting, non-superwash wool. And Seisha and I were talking at the end of the Suitcase Sale that maybe we'll collaborate and write this up as a pattern together.
Cool. You should.
She has a little bit of, she's done some learning on grading. And I would definitely need help with that. But I think I don't know, y'all can comment below if this is something you'd like to knit on. Like I said, this much basically took me an episode and a half of Sherlock last night. Cool. And now I've got to finish that episode that I started but didn't finish.
Let's see. I need to get a ruler.
I don't, so it has no name. It has no pattern yet.
I was going to say, what would you call it?
Oh. And I think...
Waffles.
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 Waffle.
Yeah.
Do you watch, does anyone watch, am I the only one who watches Teen Titans Go?
Yes.
There is an
probably.
entire episode. I mean, and when I say an entire episode, they're 10-minute episodes. God bless them. Where Beast Boy and Cyborg basically torment everybody else by only talking with waffles. So they're like, waffles? Waffles, waffles. Waffles.
Oh,
and then
boy.
everybody else is like, no, oh my God, stop.
Stop that.
And finally they're like, waffles, waffles, waffles. And they're like, bro, that's not funny. I love Teen Titans Go.
10-minute episodes?
10-minute episodes,
Wow.
let me tell you.
Talk about short attention span, right?
They are truly funny. They are weird, too.
Do they show like 3 at a time or something?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I mean, and then occasionally they have, like, a longer one where you're like, oh, it's a double episode. But I love Teen Titans Go. Don't worry, your boys look up there.
No, I'm sure. I suspect Beth is already there. And
Oh, Beth is definitely already there.
so,
Yeah.
Yeah. She was at Comic-Con last week. That's
Nice.
also what's been happening around town. We had
Nice.
Comic-Con in New York City.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. Seriously, comment below. I like the stitch pattern too. I think it would look good. It would certainly look good on a cowl.
Yeah.
It would look good
Yeah.
on a hat, right? Like I don't know. I did that with Prosecco when I did it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Like you
Yeah,
make
yeah.
one thing and you're like, oh my goodness,
This would look great on such and such.
And you just translate it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I have a question. What is our stop time again?
I mean, I must be in my car at 2:30.
Oh, we
have 15 minutes.
All right.
15
Do
home
you have
minutes.
any more whips?
My meter runs out in 2 minutes and 42 seconds though, so this might be an expensive podcast.
Just restart it on your phone. Just do it.
I can restart it.
Wait, you gotta
Have you
use
done it for
another
3
email.
hours?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
gotta use
want to run
another
out and do a
email.
couple quarters?
Huh?
Don't get a ticket. I hate getting tickets back.
Oh,
All right, so let's talk. Do we have any more whips?
I have a whip.
Okay, I have a whip too.
Why don't you talk? 'Cause
I'm gonna go whip. So the first whip I'm doing is what I'm doing right here, and I
you made
realized
so much progress.
I've made so much progress because it is worsted weight. This is a new yarn that we will be bringing in, but it's also similar to an old familiar favorite. But I'm doing a honey cowl, written by our friend of store and rep, Antonia Shankland.
Yeah.
And I have already, it's very straightforward, it's very simple, and I've already screwed up once. But that's because I'm talking. But it's basically a slip stitch cowl. It's going to be like a nice, cozy, little fluffy love. You'll see it. And then my other whip, I don't have very much, but I have my swatch for my class.
Yes. Oh yeah, I meant to show this. On
Which
Instagram.
is, I even swatched the color work in the round.
Oh, that's pretty.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Let me take it up.
Svendsdatter.
Mm-hmm.
By, I can't remember him.
Oh, I thought you were doing
Kristin
the
someone?
main body and
Yes.
the teal.
No, I'm doing the main body and the gray.
I did not know that.
Teal is a pop. So I did my swatch. I did my color work. I was playing around with color work. That is 3 repeats of the circular yoke color work shebang. And I just carried the yarn loosely in the back. And then I was like, I have enough yarn. I don't need to unravel this. So then I cut it, which is very satisfying. And I blocked it before I cut it, but I got to block it again to just get the little fringes. I'm doing this in Corey and Wensley worsted from
I love them
Anime.
together. It's so pretty.
Buttercream, Bone, and Isle of Arran.
Mm-hmm.
And the one trick that I have for when you're doing this kind of color work swatch and you're carrying yarns in the back, it's cast on 4 extra stitches. You have 2 on each side that aren't part of the pattern, and you knit those 2 stitches and all of your colors together. So like you
That's
just
really
hold
holds it.
like
Yeah.
all 3 yarns together.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't have to worry about it. And
Without
then
anything coming out.
your repeat. So the ends are the edges are a little ruffly because of that, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's a swatch.
exactly.
Like, yeah.
This was partially to play with stitch gauge and partially to play with color. It was mostly color. I then did, this was another color that I was looking at that I had. So I just did
I remember
my
last week, yeah.
swatchy swatch in
Is that
this.
sorry?
This is sorry. And
Mhm.
I did my swatch, and so Corey worsted and Wensley worsted are really gauge shifters. You can knit them down to like a solid firm DK gauge, or
Mhm.
you can go up and have an airier worsted. They aren't super washed. They have a lot of fluff to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went from a size 5 needle to a size 7 needle. I'm going to go with a size 7 needle. That's the gauge that's in the pattern, which is a little bit loose for a DK, but actually perfectly fine for
Let
this.
me see.
But the thing is that...
So what are you swatching for now, though? What is this?
That I was swatching to actually see if I got gauge for the pattern.
Okay.
So, but like, actually, any of those three, I would be fine with for a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
I've knit a sweater at a DK gauge using the Corey worsted, and I love it.
What's do you know the stitch count?
For the gauge for the sweater, it's 19 stitches to 4 inches, which is closer to a worsted than a DK.
Yeah.
Over stockinette, not necessarily over the collar work.
Right.
Right.
That's nice.
I
love that yarn.
I love this yarn
It's
too.
such a problem. That's just what we were just talking about. Like, I love so many yarns, and I don't have
not enough time to do them all.
So, if anyone is watching and planning to do the sweater class, this is one where I'm not going to worry too much. I would not worry too much about gauge because it is easier to modify a circular yoke sweater, especially one that is narrow spokes like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because if you need to cast on for 20 repeats, you cast on for 20 repeats. If the size you need and the measurements you need to cast on for 10 repeats, you cast on for 10 repeats.
Mm-hmm.
So
or if the sizing is like 16, 18, 20 and you need 19, you do 19.
Cast on 19. It's fine. We'll
be a rule breaker.
And that's something that Kathleen and I were talking with a friend of the pod on email, and I think it's really important for knitters of all sizes, but especially if you're on the smaller or the larger end of the range where you often don't get things designed for you, to be able to kind of take that in hand and basically be like, nah, I'm going to do what I want. Because you can't necessarily guarantee that everything is going to be graded well for you, or is going to be graded for you and graded well for your size.
Yeah, even if the size exists, it often at those smaller and larger sizes isn't done with the same care and attention, unfortunately.
Yeah, or they just do it proportionally, and guess
that
what?
doesn't necessarily work. Yeah.
And so
I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of vest comments on my grading.
That's okay. You can hire a professional.
Yes, that's part of that can be part of tech editing.
Does the grading for you.
Yeah.
And honestly,
I feel like that would be something that would be so worthwhile.
It is. Well, and I wish more people did it.
It's also a job that, I mean, it's intense, and yes, and so I don't expect to sell 50,000 of my vest pattern unless y'all get real exuberant about it, which is awesome. We'll do pre-sales. If the pre-sales fund...
If the pre-sales work.
Fund a tech editor. We're going to tech edit it. No, I'm kidding. But it probably won't be, just because, if I sell 100 of these, it's not going to pay for a tech editor.
And even if you sell a 20, I mean, you'll get sometimes a pattern by a really well-known designer. I mean, there are a couple of people that I've done several items by, and like I look and you figure, oh, she's got at least a few hundred of everything. No, it could be like 20.
Right.
And I know that, Ravelry doesn't represent the number that have been made, but I'm sure it's proportional. Yep. So it's like even somebody who's really well known doesn't necessarily sell that many of any pattern that they make.
It's a hard industry, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's why learning how to grade would be great, but that's a lot of work.
They're wrong, and that's what Seisha is working on.
Yeah,
which is
she's going to be our team.
She's so mathy, so it's
it's perfect for those.
It's right in her wheelhouse. So
So we're gonna keep going with whips with Kathleen's whip.
All right, so I am almost at the end of a row, but I'll go ahead and start and turn it around now. From last episode that we got in Helix and Felix from La Bien Aimée.
Yay.
And so, we always like to do a sample as soon as possible. I'm sorry, this is not a point I can completely hold it out. But I decided not only to do, not only to use this yarn by La Bien Aimée, but this pattern is by Aimée Gille and is La Bandana. And actually, I only have like 8 stitches left in this row, so I'm going to finish it so I can really stretch it out and show you. And as she even says in the pattern, it really is a recipe. And it is just a nice way to use, a small amount of yarn that's kind of special. Mm-hmm. A bunch of hers are striped, which I loved. I don't have a whole lot of striped things. And I feel like her colors play so well together. So I'm using Yellow Brick Road and Stone. I think it's Stone. It's not Moria. It's not the darkest. Yeah. Actually, my labels are right in here. I can check.
It's such a pretty... I love that Grello
Yeah, it's definitely the Grello effect, right? Yellow Brick Road, and it is stone. Okay.
Nicely done.
So, so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I am making it. It's funny. I did. It's one of those things. It's kind of like, what is it, like garter? You know, like when you do garter, you know, a ridge is 2 rows. When you're doing I-cord, your end stitches go over 2 stitches. Yeah. So stupidly though, I was counting my I-cord stitches to see when I got to 20, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, as soon as I got to 20, I'm like, that's not right. So I counted, and of course, that's 40 rows. It's like 20 I-cord rows is 40 knit rows. But I decided, because it's the end anyway, it's fine. Like, you don't really notice.
Totally fine.
You almost don't even notice that it's that much wider than the others. It's just going to be the points.
Definitely not.
No.
Yeah, isn't that funny? It looks like 1.5, doesn't it?
It reads.
It's an optical illusion because there's so much less fabric down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That so anyway, I'm totally good with that.
Good.
So I ripped back. I think I was on my second one, and I was getting to that point, and that's when I said, "Oh, wait a minute." Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't even realize on the first one. I got to what I was thinking was 20, and then I switched to my gray, and I did do Russian joins like Jen suggested. Yay! So I have no ends whatsoever. I just did one in the last 15 minutes while we were sitting here, which you may have said, "Why is Kathleen spitting on her yarn?"
That's why.
That's why I was spitting on my yarn. But yeah, this is really fun. So I just switched from the yellow to the gray again. I think I'm going to work one more full gray stripe and then see if it's big enough. Or maybe I'll go to another one. I have plenty of yarn. It is the Felix, right? Felix or Helix? I literally can never remember.
I think it's Helix.
It's Helix. What did I think? Felix is the brighter colors. Is the bright, but Felix is festive. How's that? I'll remember. Felix is festive. So Helix is more subdued. But yeah, I have, it's over 700 yards per skein. So I've got plenty of yarn to do this and still have stuff for other projects. So this is fun. This is going to be my carry around, like my Rhinebeck project, all of that.
Yeah.
Because it's like once you get going with it, it is so easy. But interesting point. And when I said it was, aiming to say it's a recipe, my impression is that this is definitely written for people who are tighter knitters, because I did do it starting to follow the directions about, add an extra stitch in here and drop your yarn, add a yarn over, drop your yarn over. So my edges were like wiggly and loose. I'm eliminating all of those things. And now it's coming out so nice and it's even easier. Yeah. So if you're a loose knitter, I can send you my mods.
Yeah.
I'll just put them in the project.
If you're a tight knitter, follow
follow the directions that Amy's written them, or even probably an on-gauge knitter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is so interesting to see how, things like that,
different things
are so different. Different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
So that is that, and this, I think, should be done by the next episode. So
excellent.
That is it for me for On the Needles that I brought with me.
So this week we're going to skip the Ask Us a Question because we are running low on time.
We're very short on time.
But we will definitely get you next week. But we should mention who won our giveaway for the last episode, where we asked...
We said, have you scheduled your annual mammogram? And so many people were like, yes, I have. Or, I reminded someone if I'm too young or whatever. So we were so happy to see all of that. And so many people were really actually happy that we... mention that, and I'm glad. It's like we're all out there looking out for each other, so that's a really good thing.
For sure.
And you guys have to hold me to it. I have it on my list. I haven't made my appointment yet. I'm doing it before the next episode. Hold me to it. Accountability, right? So our winner is Ann Volkman 4189.
Yay!
Who said another great episode. I appreciate your highlighting and describing new yarns. Very informative. She had her second mammogram of the year in July. She was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in July of 2022. So she gets more now. Treatments are over and all is well, but I can't stress enough, get your yearly mammos. And she is not the only one who said that.
Yep.
So guys, it is more common than you think, and it is a way. We're so lucky, I think all of us who probably are, watching this and everything, if you live in a place where you have access to health care, take advantage of it.
Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, we are back. Sans Amanda, who had to run and pick up children.
School pickup is no joke. They get released whether you're there or not.
It's one of those things you really cannot be late for.
No.
So,
yeah. So we're going to talk about what is new in store.
Oh, but also we were talking still about
right.
the last winner and everything. So our winner was Anne, as we said.
Yay,
and
Anne.
she wins 1 ball of Pasquale Tibetan. So Anne, take a look on our website. Let us know what color you'd like. We will ship it off to you. And if there's anything else you want, the shipping is on us. So just let me know. Just email us at hello@shopyarnia.com. If you know exactly what you want, just send it with your address and we'll get that out to you.
Yeah.
And all will be good.
That'll be so good.
Yeah. So you can make a solid color hat, or if you want to, you can make a multicolor hat or 2 or whatever. You can see. It'd make a lovely cowl too. I think that would be. It is. We can't tell you how delicious it is. It's like
so nice.
We love Woolfolk Far, and the fact that I can truly say it feels softer than Far is just like
that's a high bar.
It really is. Far is the yarn that when people come in the store and say, "I can't wear wool; it's too scratchy," I'm like, "Have you tried this?"
You're like, "You need to touch this,"
and usually then they buy some almost immediately.
And they're like, "Oh my God, you're right."
So you're right.
I know.
Yeah, I think some people are thinking about wool from decades ago. So
I know, and it's different, and
or rustic when people want rustic.
If you like a rustic wool, you like a rustic wool. If you don't like a rustic wool, we
have options. We have options. So
let's talk about new in store. So what we have in front of us is our super pretty, super bulky,
so gorgeous, dream in color, savvy.
Love it. We have multis. We have
a lot of multis.
Tonals.
Mm-hmm. And these are going to be. I love this green. Yeah, that's mint drop.
Oh my God, I love these two together.
They're fun. Yeah,
prickly pear. Prickly pear and mint drop together.
Mm-hmm. So
and these are big skeins.
Yeah, they are. They're giant. They are what, 150 gram?
150 grams, 130 yards.
So you can make definitely hat and mitts. You can make a decent length scarf. I mean, especially if you're knitting it not at at a nice loose gauge for the nice super bulkiness that it is. Yeah. So, and
this is great for
quick gifts.
Quick gifts. You want to make a bunch of hats?
Yeah.
Get yourself some savvy, because honestly, a hat in this will take an evening.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. And actually, when I was here Saturday over the weekend, I don't know, for some reason we were just like focused on the store samples and everything, and a couple of our weekend staff were like, "I haven't made a store sample in a while." I'm like, Here's a yarn.
Take one.
You like this? Go for it. And so with doing that with them, I had to do it for myself. So I took a skein of Savvy in what is kind of our store color, and I'm going to make a big cowl out of that.
Nice.
I think that'll be fun. Yeah, I think a cowl is a fun thing. Because a lot of people, you show them a hat, and they're like, I don't wear hats. Yeah. So if you wear a cowl, you can envision it being a hat, too.
Yes.
Right? So, so we've got
cowls go quicker than scarves.
And the other thing, and we showed you this before.
Yes, we talked a little bit about this with my finished object, is the fur reel.
Fur reel. And actually, you want to...
Fur reel, yes.
Well, you're wearing black already, so
that's okay, but it's pretty, and I love it. And
it's pretty, and it's so soft. I'm going to leave this on here.
So this is my favorite type of thing for fur reel, if you don't want to do a blanket, is just it's a cowl.
Quick cowl.
It's 30 stitches, garter stitch, knit it around. If you want to use a provisional cast on, use a provisional cast on. You want to just 3 needle bind it off together with picked up stitches from the cast on. You want to just sew it together, knock yourself out.
Because you know what? No one's going to see it anyway.
No one sees it. You can,
sometimes it's hard to tell the inside or the outside.
You just,
and it feels so good. It feels really nice.
So good. And you could pull it up. You could push it down.
And we have.
And this is, I think, maybe 2 skeins.
Yeah, I think that's 2 skeins.
Or maybe 1.5. And you can make it longer. So
it's probably on the tag. It's probably on the tag.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on the tag. Did I write it down? 144 yards of fur yarn. So I did this in size 11.
Is that one? Is that one skein?
That might be one. So this is 36 stitches, worked in garter until nearly.
Oh no, it is 2. They're 71 yards each.
Yes. Unzip the provisional cast on, graft or 3 needle bind off. Pattern is on the tag, my friends.
So we have 7 colors, and actually we ordered an 8th color this morning in our vendor meeting. So it won't be here quite by the time of the podcast, but soon after. So we've got black, we've got a gray multi.
Beautiful gray.
We've got white.
Of course.
We've got, I think this is, winter bunny. It does look
like
a bunny.
I love this one because it's like a gray mauve.
This is really fun. This
Hot
is
pink.
Roseate Spoonbill. These are all based on animals and birds and
I
things.
love this one. How fun would this be? Like a cowl be in this, and then we have the blue. We have a couple of
where's here? They're buried at the other end.
They're buried.
This is the pale pink.
I
rose
love
finch.
the pale pink. That
And
is so
here
pretty.
is the blue.
And if you want something,
2, 4, 6, 7. Yeah. So what did we order today? I forget what else we ordered.
I don't remember which one it was.
I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, solid gray.
The solid gray, of course. How could I forget?
Solid gray, not
Yep.
tonal gray.
Yeah.
So this is also great because if you have someone who's very fussy, who is still like, me, even fur is too scratchy for me, or Pasquale is too scratchy for me. This is fake fur and it's lovely. It's easy
And
to work.
it's just fun. It's a
It's
fun
just
thing.
fun. They're not that expensive.
No, they're really reasonable.
They go a long way, and like I made a bajillion gifts for this, and like everybody loves them.
They're fun. They're just fun.
They're just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So our question for today is,
What would you make with for
what
real?
would you make with for real?
Mm-hmm.
And what will the winner get?
2 balls of for real, so they can make
2
the cap.
balls of for real. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
You could pick the same color. You could color block. I think
Mhm.
Amy did a color block once. One of friends of story, me, Luca.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's just a great, gifty, fun. You could do a hat,
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
It's just super fun. So,
Mm-hmm. Cool.
so that was our like speed episode.
Let us know if you watched it at 1.25 speed anyway. If so, we are very impressed.
Did we sound like chipmunks? But we will be asking. We have we were talking about it before we started recording. We will be asking about and answering
Or
your
talking
question.
more about the
Talking more
hashtag
about
opinion.
hashtag opinions because we have them.
We do. We do. And actually, I was thinking we could do it now with the 2 of us, but on the other hand, Amanda has to edit, and she's leaving for Rhinebeck.
She has
really
to edit,
soon.
and she's leaving for Rhinebeck. So if we go
So
long, then
Amanda,
she's gonna kill us.
we're saving you from having to do more editing.
Like we already go long anyway. But
do.
thank you for joining us. Make sure
Thanks for watching.
to like and subscribe.
Hope we see, well, especially Amanda is
Yes.
definitely going to be at Rhinebeck. Hope we see some of you at Indie Untangled. That she's going to be at Will and Folk. All of us here who have tickets to Indie have it for the first hour, though actually, this is probably coming out.
It's coming out after.
You're not going to.
But it's coming up Saturday morning, so if you're at Rhinebeck, you're watching this at Rhinebeck, or you're going to be at Rhinebeck
right.
on
Yeah,
Sunday,
that's Friday.
and
Yep.
you see anyone, say hi.
Yeah, Amanda will be there for sure.
Yes.
And
Kathleen may or
probably
may
say, I definitely won't. Well, who knows? Maybe if the weather's much better on Sunday, we'll go on Sunday.
Yeah, go on Sunday.
Yeah.
I feel like Sunday's a nice time to go to.
Yeah, I feel like Sunday's sad.
Oh, you get the Sunday scaries.
No, it's just like, I don't know. I'm one of
Everybody's
those people
cleaning
like everyone's cleaning up. It makes me kind of sad.
You're like, you want to go at the
Closing time.
beginning rather at the closing
I always
time.
want to go at the beginning.
That's...
Always like to.
But it's also fun because you're like, oh, it's
I-
like a last hurrah.
But you know what? But
fall.
all the meetups too. All the meetups are on Saturday. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If the weather's going to be really awful, it would be actually kind of cool if people would reschedule the meetups
Shift
for
their
Sunday.
meetups to Sunday.
That would be nice. But it's probably too hard to make that happen. Honestly,
I feel like that's
I think
a
a lot
that's
of
a
people.
pivot that's
A lot of
gotta
people
go.
only go Saturday, so
Yeah.
then they
Saturday is the
would
biggest
miss
day.
out. Yeah,
Saturday's
for
the
sure,
biggest
for
day,
sure. So.
But anyway, if you're going, I hope you're having a great time.
Have fun.
And yeah, so we'll see you next time, and we will be answering your questions then.
Yes, we will.
Thanks, guys.
We'll make sure we leave time.
Bye.